Welcome to our posts. Today we will see stories of am I the butthole? Am I the butthole for not paying for my daughter's wedding because she invited my brother and his family? I'm 46 male, my brother 48 male. When I was 20, my then girlfriend cheated with my brother. I was heartbroken and pissed. I told him he is no longer my brother. Despite my request, my family didn't cut him off, so I told them that I will never again be in the same place as he is. If they wish to invite both, then they should just invite him, as I am the one giving ultimate. My daughter is getting married in spring next year. In our culture, both parents are paying for the wedding, 50/50ths. Unexpectedly, my daughter sat me down and told me that she will be inviting my brother and his family. He married my cheating ex. Apparently, she was seeing them for the last 4 years and built a relationship behind my back. She even wants her cousin to be some kind of flower girl. I was pissed. I told her what my boundaries are, and if my brother is invited, then I will not pay my part of the wedding. She became angry and told me it's time to let go of the past. I told her it's not her call to make. We argued some more and she told me I am making her wedding about myself. I told her I will probably not even attend, so it will be all about her. She left crying. My ex-wife called me screaming and told me I'm huge butthole and our daughter is crushed. Then my parents called, same thing. I told them off and now I'm ignoring their calls. My GF told me to reconsider and apologize. That by not paying and attending I will break relationship with my daughter. I don't know. I think my boundaries should be respected. Am I butthole for that? Next story. Am I the butthole for telling my sister she could have dated the guy she liked had she not been such a misogynistic pick-me? My 20-year-old sister Kim and I are identical twins. We were very different growing up and still are. I hate to say this, but Kim is the definition of a pick-me girl, always spewing misogynistic nonsense on how women are weak and should abide to men. How she's so short and petite so she can't do anything on her own without a big strong man around. How all the girls are trying too hard by wearing makeup while she is pretty naturally, so they all hate her for it. You get the gist. Kim and I attend the same college but study there in different departments. In one of my classes there is this guy named Dave. Dave is your typical handsome frat boy that most girls in our college have a crush on, including Kim. Over the summer I've started working in a small coffee shop near campus to earn some extra cash. During that time Dave became a frequent customer there and was pretty friendly toward me since he recognized me from class. After a while he admitted that he's attracted to me and asked me out so we can get to know each other. Knowing that Kim liked him, I decided to reject Dave and instead offered to set him up with her. We are identical, so if he asked me out based on attraction it really shouldn't matter. Dave agreed and I gave him my sister's number. I knew they met up for a date during the weekend but didn't have the time to ask Kim how it went since I was sick. Today during my shift Dave approached me and asked if I could return to Kim the lip gloss she left in his car since he knew the brand was expensive. I asked him why he didn't return it to her himself and he said that he didn't want to see her after how the date went. I was confused and so I asked him if the date was really that bad. He explained that they went to a nice restaurant where my sister didn't stop harassing and criticizing the waitress for wearing too much makeup and looking easy. After that fiasco was over she proceeded to say some stuff that I can only imagine are usually said in an Andrew Tate podcast. Dave, who was apparently raised by a single mother and has 5 sisters, was horrified, so he excused himself to the bathroom, paid for their meal, Venmo'd Kim some cash for an Uber and left her at the restaurant alone. I was embarrassed for Kim but totally understood why Dave walked out on her, so I apologized on her behalf and took the lip gloss with me. I returned it to her 2 hours ago and she didn't stop complaining on how awful Dave was, how he wasn't a real man since real men usually like when she brings up how women are inferior to them. At some point I just cut her off and told her that she had a chance of a nice date with a guy she liked but ruined it all because she couldn't stop being a misogynistic pick-me even for 1 second. I'm now back at my apartment and Kim hasn't stopped texting me demanding I apologize, but I don't feel like it. Am I the butthole? Update. I would like to start this off by saying that although I don't agree or excuse Kim's actions, I do understand that they come from a place of insecurity. And although I knew her obsession over male validation was not normal, I didn't understand the severity of it until now. I've talked with our parents and they both agreed based on what I told them that we'll try to convince Kim to attend therapy after the holidays. I'm not she'll agree, but it's worth a shot. I ended up getting Dave's phone number from a classmate of ours. I've sent him a text apologizing again for what went on and thanked him for still paying for my sister's meal and making sure she had a way to get home safely. We talked a bit more, one thing led to another, and we agreed to meet up for lunch next week after class. I don't know if I should consider this a date or not since we didn't label it as such, but I think I'll just meet him there and see how it goes. I told Kim about it, and to say she was pissed would be an understatement. She called me a horrible sister for agreeing to meet a guy who publicly humiliated her by leaving her alone at the restaurant. I retaliated by reminding her that she was the one who embarrassed him first by causing a scene in public. She was also the one who said that he's not manly enough for her and lost all interest, so she can't say she has a claim to him. After calming her down, she agreed with me and said that a female like her deserves a manlier alpha male. Yes, I know this sounds super cringy. I didn't know what to say to that, so I just laughed and wished her good luck with that. I think she's still a bit salty over this and her ego is definitely bruised, but at least I know she's completely over Dave. Next story. Am I the butthole for kicking my nephew out of my house after he hid my husband's inhaler as a prank? I am 30-year-old woman and my sister 39-year-old has cancer. She's a single mom of her 16-year-old son. We were asked to take him in while she gets treated so we could help him focus on studying and provide a normal routine for him. My husband has asthma. He needs his inhaler throughout the day. Thing is, my nephew is a prankster. He'd hide the inhaler as a prank then give it back as soon as there's panic in the house. So far he's done it 2 times and thought it was just him messing around. The other day, my husband called me while I was at work panicking, saying his inhaler was lost. I asked if my nephew had taken it as a prank, but he doubted it since my nephew would give it back instantly after we panic. I got home and we looked for it for hours and had to go to the hospital eventually. When we got back, we found it sitting at the coffee table. My husband and I looked at each other and next thing we knew, my nephew was giggling upstairs. In that moment, I just lost it. I yelled at him, then told him he was no longer welcome in my home. He started panicking and my parents called me to get to the bottom of what happened, but still defended him, saying it was a prank and that I took things too far by kicking him out while his mom is struggling. They insisted I take him back, but I refused. Now they're giving me hell about being unsupportive and making things more difficult for my struggling sister. They even blamed my husband for not keeping his things locked away. Am I the butthole? Did I make a hasty decision? Next story. Am I the butthole for not letting my daughter buy clothes? My wife, 37-year-old, and I am 37-year-old, have 4 kids, 14 female and 14 male, 12 male, and 11 female. We generally agree on parenting them, but a recent incident had me and my wife disagreeing and I want to see if I was in the wrong. A few weeks ago, I was at home with our 12-year-old because he was sick with a stomach bug. While I was making him soup, I got a call from my twins' high school, telling me that they wanted to speak with me, and that my daughter had received 3 days of islands for a bullying incident. Because of my son's sickness, I spoke through them via phone and they told me everything that had happened. My daughter and a group of her friends was picking on a boy for wearing a crop top. The boy told the teacher. She asked them to stop. When they didn't stop, she sent them to the office. After talking to the boy, he admitted the bullying was going on for a few days, and that they kept bothering him when he asked them to stop. My daughter and son came home and my son's face was bright red. I told my daughter to go to her room and then sat down with my son to see if he was okay. Apparently, the boy she bullied was a close friend of his, one of his football teammates. The boy was talking to my son and their other friends and said something about how he thought it was cool that some men used to wear sports crop tops. The boys told him if he thought it was cool, he should try it. The boys went out and bought some jerseys from the thrift store and made them into crop tops. I then spoke to my daughter. She didn't show much remorse and was dismissive of me. Last year, she also got in trouble for bullying someone BC of clothing. She's also gotten in trouble for racism at school, very white area. We are white. Her and her friends were saying racist stuff in class. When my wife got home, we discussed a punishment and agreed on not buying her new clothes for a while. She has plenty of good clothes already. This weekend, we went to visit my brother. My brother lives around 3 hours away in a small town and we don't see him often. This week was the town's annual fair. At the fair, they had booths from local businesses. Our oldest son went to the booth with antique sports stuff and then the book booth to get books on sports history. Son loves reading those. Our 12 years old got some plushies and toys, and our youngest was looking at video games. Our oldest daughter went to the clothes. I stopped her and told her the rule was still in place. I said she could buy books, a video game, candy, etc., but clothes were the one thing she could not get. She was bugging my wife, and my wife eventually told her she would reconsider it. She then talked to me and I told her that I wasn't changing my stance because I am letting her buy other stuff and I thought she was being entitled. My daughter didn't buy anything and my wife thinks I was too tough on her. When I called my mom for advice, she also agreed with my wife. Am I the butthole? I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel or posts.